Hi, welcome to A Minute with Alan. This is about million dollar consulting. It's about how it happened, and I think it might be a lesson for some of you. And so I'm going to tell you in its entirety. It's take me a few minutes. But I had written 3 books on innovation, on behavior, on strategy. These were topics I was consulting in. And since I had 3 books to my credit, when I looked for an agent for a 4th book, I found one, Jeff Herman, who's still my agent at times, 30-something years later. I decided I'd write Confessions of a Consultant. And this was going to tell executives and organizations how to choose the right consultant and what mistakes were being made. And the book was rejected 15 times. And one day I'm driving back from a speech in Hartford, Connecticut. It's about a 90-minute trip from here. And I had one of the first car phones in New England. It was hardwired into the dash. The phone rings. I pick it up, and it's Jeff Herman. And he's at McGraw-Hill, which at the time, it was the creme de la creme of business publishing. And he said, listen, I'm at McGraw-Hill. I said, McGraw-Hill, finally, we got it? He said, they hate it. I said, Jeff, do you know what this call's costing me? He said, what they want to know is, can you write a book about how you made $1 million as a solo practitioner? I said, in 6 minutes. He said, I'm going to tell him 6 months. Hold on. And I heard his hand go over the phone. He struck a deal, $25,000 advance. And so I wrote this book, $1 Million Consulting. And when I went over to McGraw-Hill in New York, when it was nearing production, the senior trade editor, Betsy Brown, who was a wonderful woman, but tough as could be, says to me, listen, sit down. She says, we can't call this Confessions of a Consultant. Obviously, we have to have a different title. I said, okay, Betsy, I'll work on it. She says, you're not working on anything. Sit right there. She says, I need a title for the book. I said, Betsy, what can I tell you? It's about $1 Million Consulting. She said, there's your title. And so the book goes into production. It's $1 Million Consulting. And 32 years later, 33 years later, my royalty statements from McGraw-Hill through the 6th edition still say Confessions of a Consultant. That's how bureaucratic McGraw-Hill is. But let me tell you something. $1 Million Consulting launched a franchise, obviously, but it's a metaphor. Some people are doing quite well on 250,000 or 31,000 or whatever it is, probably not 31, but $1.5 million or whatever. And I've coached people consistently to improve their lifestyles. Sometimes that means more money. Sometimes it means freeing themselves. Sometimes it means being more diverse in their offerings, showing more value, and so forth. Maybe 10 million is what you need, but $1 Million Consulting is a metaphor. And I want to just use the next minute or so to reflect on what I just told you, because you might say, I got lucky. $1 Million Consulting, it just popped out. And that's true to a certain extent. But I was diligent. I got myself an agent. I went through 15 rejections and never really lost faith. What happened was, in the 16th approach, a different approach from me was requested. And I was opportunistic, and I was flexible, and I was resilient, and that's what they wanted. Fine. I thought then I'd go back to other business books. Well, it changed my life. Changed a lot of your lives too, maybe. So what I'm saying is, give yourself a break. Just because you're going from point A to point B doesn't mean it's an uninterrupted course. Sometimes you take detours, sometimes you get off the road, you come back on again. But the key is to be flexible and resilient and opportunistic and innovative and energetic. That puts things in your control. And so I want you to know, $1 Million Consulting is a metaphor for $1 million existence.